So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about disappointment and how does disappointment fit into living our lives fully alive? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling a lot of discouragement lately. And we are right in the middle, or I don't know where we're at in the coronavirus, but we're right in the middle of this crisis or somewhere in it. And disappointment is something that's very real right now for a lot of us. There's disappointment in job loss, there's disappointment in restrictions as far as where we can travel, what we can eat, where we can go. There's disappointment in huge life events being canceled, from weddings and from birthday parties to graduation, to be able to see families, to holidays, travel, vacation canceled. These are all, and as the weeks go on, I feel like the discouragements just keep piling up and piling up. And as much as I try to go with the flow or pivot or make other plans, some of them are very heartbreaking. And it's just, I feel like we think we have control over our lives, right? And we know that that's not true. We know that we think we do because of security of, I know where I live, or I know where I got to go to work, or I know where I shop for food, or wherever that is. We think that, and that does provide some kind of security, but we all know that we don't really have any kind of security in life, because things could change in an instant. But the disappointments are real, and how I've been learning to handle those disappointments is when I feel that disappointment, I pause, I notice my thought, because we can't just think our way through this. We have to notice our thoughts so we become more conscious. I notice why I'm thinking that, and then I think to myself, where this is an opportunity for me to show up and do something in a different way. And what is that? And so if I'm feeling disappointment because this was canceled, I'll say, okay, well, what else is possible? And I start thinking, what else is possible? And I try to be as creative as possible. At first, I might get a little whiny or a little teary-eyed or a little angry, or whatever it may be, those emotions. It is totally normal to feel those emotions through all these disappointments that we're going through. But what's nice is to recognize it and say, okay, is that from an old pattern that I'm thinking these things? Is it because this is how I'm really feeling right now? Or if I'm projecting into the, unknowing, our future is so uncertain right now, and we don't know what is going to happen. So we're like, you know what? It's hard to go there too. And then we think about disappointments that haven't even happened yet, right? And so I try to recognize, and in those moments of thinking about my thoughts, recognizing my thoughts, I think this is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to show up in a different way, for me to give in a different way, for me to provide value in a different way. And so I just know for me, I want to be a better me coming out on the other side of this than I was coming into this. That's all we can do, right? We can all just grow and learn. And so I thought of 2 words that I'm focused on during this time. And I would ask for you guys to pick a word or 2 and cling to that word as we go through this. But my 2 words are to connect and to be creative. I want to connect with people that I've not been able to connect with, and connect in a real way, and check in on people. I want to check in on my friends and family and people that I don't just normally talk to, my 5 normal people that I talk to. I really want to connect and be intentional about connecting, because I wrote a blog on my website. If you haven't seen the website, it's just autumnshields.com. But I wrote a blog a few weeks ago about connecting. And wow, a totally different way than I think about connecting now, and how important it is to connect. And all of us we're made to connect in different ways. And so to recognize that. And my second thing is to be creative. And a lot of people are learning second languages and instruments, or, learning how to be really creative with homeschooling. And for me, I tend to be creative with business. And so I'm putting a lot of creativity into that right now, and trying to stay focused on positive and creating something positive. If you have not checked out the Living Alive show, you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts. But that show is designed specifically to help people live their lives alive. And it's such a weird topic to think about now as we're going through this, but it's really to follow the nudges, life's nudges, and follow direction. So I have people on that show that have some really fun tools and tips and tricks to help us live our life alive. And then I have some people that have gone through some amazing hardships in their life and have gotten to the other side of it, and give us some really good insight of what things that they did to help them during rough times. So I hope that these things really inspire you through this time, and we're going to get to the other side of this, and we're going to be better together, even though we're apart right now. So I just want to thank you for your contribution during this time and continue to grow through this time.